Hey, here's the plan. I bought these at Home Depot. They basically run off of mains voltage, which I don't believe is a good idea outside here in the winter time, since we're more likely to have rain instead of snow. So what I'm going to do is chop this off, connect up a USB through a considerable amount of this type of wiring. It's 22 gauge. And so instead of having a go like this, where there's basically 36 LEDs in series, it'll go to 3 sets of 12 LEDs in parallel. I might put the resistor here, or I might put it at the start of each of the legs. And I'm going to try to reuse as much of the internal wiring in there as I can. So this will be stop motion, and let's get to it. So, actual wiring versus what I guessed is slightly different, not by much. On the last cane, they actually have the wire go up and then everything's coming down the other way. Instead of, I just did it that way. Also, 35 of the LED clips are positive on the clip side, and one is negative on the clip side, the very first one. So, next is time to start cutting them up and putting them back together. So, step one was simply to tie a piece of string to the end when you pull it out like this. And then that way, when you pull it all the way back through, you've got the string here. And that way, it's a lot easier when you need to put it all back in. Just tie this end and pull it through instead of trying to feed it through the hard way. So, next. So, after a lot of cutting, splicing, soldering, and heat sinking, I have the 3 strings all done up. I'm feeding it through 7.5 ohm resistor, which is probably upside down. And off the current bank, it's reading 0.21 amps at 5 volts. So I'm actually, let's see, let me do a calculation. 1 moment. So that works out to be 6.3 milliamps per LED. I believe these were rated at 20 milliamps, so I'm underdriving it significantly, and they should last a very long time. So now all I have to do is put the covers back on and put it outside. Now you'll see in here, this was the first one I did. The ground, which is here, I just left bare, and the power I heat shrinked. Ditto on the second one I did, and I decided to actually do it a tiny bit nicer on the third, and that actually went a lot quicker. It probably would have taken me less time just to snip everything right off the bat, pile them up, and use brand new wire. But this way, all the wiring here is original wire. Plus, I'll have my lead wire out, which is a 22 gauge. And what do I get also? 1 moment. A plug and a receptacle as spare parts. Gotta keep them. You can use them for something eventually. And on these ones, they actually were following towards the British way of actually including, if I can focus it on there, there's actually built-in fuses, actually which you can take out, so I guess they're not built in, fuses in this on both of these leads. Not sure how much that's going to help you, but so that's it. Let me just hook it up to, or drop them into the tubes. 1 moment. So there we have it. 3 candy canes now converted from 120 volts roughly down to 5 volts simply by putting all the LEDs in parallel and adding a fairly hefty resistor. That's a 5 watt. I just don't have anything smaller. It needs to be rated at minimum 1 watt, though probably 2 watts would be better. So now I only have 3 more sets of these to do. What we will do for the festive season.